You're watching this week's show with Dan and Mike.
This week's show.
Hello there.
It's doing a little Vulcan Spock thing. Live long and prosper.
Exactly.
We're back. Another week. And we are going to, in the rest of the episode after we do our features, get into all download-related things. We did a little live reaction and had so much fun doing it, and it's lit up the internet. And so we thought we'd give our 2 pennies worth.
Maybe a quid's worth.
Maybe even a quid's worth. But thank you to everybody that tuned in last week to our Andy's Man Club one that meant quite a lot to us. So thank you very much for all the responses and that sort of jazz. Yeah, it's another quick start before we just roll to our features. And don't forget the reason why we have features. We're also a 2-hour radio show featuring new music and all that sort of jazz. The link to how you find us is below. And whilst you're doing that, do a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Or bells.
So, the big news this week is Download announced how many bands?
92.
92 bands.
Yeah.
And they most certainly threw the cat amongst the pigeons with some of the headliners.
Yeah.
I, for one, and we've been talking about it quite a lot since the announcement, I've just become more and more sold on it, to be honest.
It's so varied. It's exactly what us as a rock show are all about.
100%, because we've got Green Day. He's never seen...
In all my aging years, I have never seen Green Day play live.
And it's my first ever festival headliner was Green Day, The Darkness and White Stripes. I've not seen Green Day since then, and that was before I did press or a radio show or anything like that.
You went as a punter.
I did. And that was like the American Idiot tour, so I was...
Saying about, they just celebrated the anniversary of that, so that's going back some time.
It is going back some time. And then we've got his sort of favourite, I would guess, is Korn.
Oh, it's about time they headlined. They've headlined everywhere around the world, in Europe, and now they're headlining the biggest festival in the UK. And they're closing the festival, which means we have to stay to the end on Sunday.
But this is good. This is like we've been talking about it on and off on our ideal lineup, which we will get back to in a second. But Korn is representative of a much older band, because Korn has been around for a very long time. Finally getting that headline slot at Download.
There was a snippet in the NME that I'm going to try and... Yeah, it was an interview with Andy Coppin. We'll get more into that in a bit, but there was something along the lines of there's at least with the festival they've now created a good 12 to 15 year break before the headliner of age, so it kind of almost says like we've got rid of all the old bands, like, you know.
Well, there was some interesting lineups of late. The returning after the pandemic lineup was a contractual obligation for one.
Yes, it was.
It was what Download does try to do on some years, which is satisfy its oldest goers and ticket buyers. Then we had sort of the year of Metallica, Slipknot, and Bring Me the Horizon.
And that was their birthday anniversary, so that was slightly different.
Yeah.
So it was an extra day.
And they kept the stage set. They nicked it off Metallica and just didn't let them take it away from the festival. It just stays at a Download now, and that's all it does. I'm lying, by the way, that's not what happens. But they still have the same stage set up because the video towers were awesome.
Yeah, they were.
So we kept those. Yeah, it's the one that has broken some people, which I don't understand why.
No, I don't.
This was coming for a long time, is we've got a brand new headliner. Like, not one that's popular around Europe, not one that's really managed to get a headline slot on another festival. This Download is putting its name to it straight away.
It's their first time headlining a major festival globally.
And it's the first time headlining any stage at Download. They were only second on the second stage the last time they played.
Meteoric rise then for Sleep Token.
And that is what has broken the internet, is Sleep Token. Partly because it's Saturday night as well. They've got like the main night. That's normally when like Maiden or Metallica play. Because even with the 20th anniversary, Bring Me technically fell on the Friday, didn't they? So they still get Metallica on the Saturday slot. So to have Sleep Token on the actual Saturday slot is huge.
Yeah, I don't know why people are kicking off about Sleep Token. They are, at the moment, one of British music's biggest exports around the world. They might not be the biggest known band in the UK commercially, but around the world they've gone like super like just taken off around the world. And it does seem like the people that are moaning about them headlining are the ones that don't see the bigger picture.
Or will moan about whoever headlines.
Yeah.
That type of thing. The thing that's interesting, and a shout out again to one of my friends that I watch his products, is John Mahone, is go across and check out his show. It's just John Mahone Show.
The link is below.
It is below. He breaks down in much more detail than what I'm about to, is that compared to Bring Me the Horizon, Sleep Token are outselling on tours. And when you're Andy Coppin, which is one of the main bookers of Download, like the head of the booking team, the one that people, like the face of the booking team.
Yes.
He's a businessman. If you want Download to come back every year, you need a businessman that's booking rather than somebody that's just booking friends or what they think is great.
Or your dream lineup.
Exactly, which is why hardly any of my bands are actually on their Download this year, because I just went for a dream lineup in a season 1. But yeah, he's a businessman, so he's chosen a band that the first time ever that they played Wembley, they sold out the whole festival. I mean, stadium.
The venue. It wasn't the stadium they were playing at. Not yet. That'll come.
Probably at some point.
Yeah.
We saw them like 10 years ago at the very start of their career at Techfest.
They were on like in the afternoon, weren't they?
And they were
about 70 people.
I think the only other band that I've seen regarded the same way at Techfest, because if you've been to Techfest, you know that Techfest is for, your serious guitar musicians. The only other band I saw taken as seriously as Sleep Token's first performance there was Slice the Cake. That internet project of some guitar behemoths. So even when they first started, there was a bit of a buzz about them. And we've been to quite a few of their shows. And
we've seen them in Torquay playing in front of 500 people. And then the following year, in the January, we saw them at the O2 in Bristol, which was about 1,500 capacity. And by the end of that year, that's when they sold out Wembley Arena.
Which is wild. And if you've not been to see one of their shows, you really should,
The Arena tour, I think, has got a couple of tickets left, maybe.
Like literally a couple of tickets.
Yeah, that's it. If it hasn't sold out already by the time this airs.
But also, we wanted to share with you, again, the shout out to Enemy for their interview with Andy Coppin from Download. Mike's going to go through a couple of choice bits. There's a particular quote that we liked from Andy.
Yeah, because he's the face of the festival. He's come under, he's the target for their hate. Not from us. We love you, Andy.
Yeah, no.
Come on our show, please.
Yeah, no, please.
He turned around and said, the festival will die if we don't move with the times, and that's exactly it. People were moaning a couple of years ago that, oh God, it's Motley Crue again, it's Iron Maiden again. It's Whitesnake again, it's Def Leppard again, that was Kiss again, and now they've gone and used some more modern bands. Some of them would have been around 20, 30 years,
They're still new to the Download headline scene.
Yeah, so hopefully in the years going forwards, we'll see some more bands that they bring forwards to headline, because Andy Coppin has done it before,
What he said, Biffy Clyro.
Biffy Clyro we put on as a headliner. That was their first UK major headliner.
That worked.
There was another band that really gave him, you lot gave him some grief because he booked Slipknot as their first ever headliner of a major festival worldwide. It's like, oh come on, they're not going to do anything, and now they've headlined it 4 or 5 times, I think.
Exactly.
Avenged Sevenfold as well.
Which now
They've
they've
played
done
3 times.
I was going to say they've come back multiple times to a big crowd every time.
And if they hadn't have had that first headline gig somewhere in the world, they wouldn't have been able to do all the rest. But that first gig was Download.
Yes, and also just to explain as well for people that don't realise how long in advance some of these discussions can be as well.
I can bring that. I know what you're going to say. I'm
Yep.
going to interject.
Go for it.
I know exactly what you're going to say. One of the other bands was Bring Me the Horizon, by the way.
Yeah.
That he brought through as their first ever major UK festival. But at the very end of this interview, which I'm scrolling through right now, they asked Andy about 2026's lineup, and he said he's already deep in conversation with 4 bands.
And that is...
So is that 4-day festival, or is that 3 headliners and...
one second stage
who
headliner.
knows? So Andy, come on the show and explain yourself.
But yeah, booking stuff, because, if you're a long-time radio fan, you'll know that we also used to be promoters, and we had a fairly successful one-day, sort of somewhere between a gig and Halloween festival sort of style.
It was getting that way. Multiple stages, multiple venues.
And admittedly, a bad year can kill your entire promotions company, which is what we did. Made it sure that we could do stuff like this, which is a bit more these times a bit more financially stable.
Much better if you're an introvert like me.
Well, on one of the years that we had, the year that actually didn't go ahead, we had contracts booked and ready to be signed sort of 23rd hour, 59th minute, and then they got pulled because one, I believe the frontman was getting married on the date of the gig. Another one, they said yes, but then the management basically turned around and said no.
It's just how it works sometimes.
And this is, we did it small scale, and so the management said no, not because they didn't like us as promoters, but because
didn't work.
Yeah, and they knew what the band was up to for the next 2 years, and that's the type of thing that Andy needs to discuss. Is where else are they playing? Are they doing Hellfest? Are they doing Wacken?
That's how I got it on the laptop over here. After Download last year, there was all these memes going around where you could have your ideal lineup or predict next year's lineup with the background of Download and all that kind of stuff. And it looked pretty snaz. And I predicted on the drive home from 2024's edition of Download, Green Day.
It really did.
And because I've worked out, they've done a stadium tour over here. They said they're coming back to Europe, so it can only be festivals, because you're not going to do stadium, because that just becomes a legacy band, and we're trying to get rid of those. Yes. We're not in a harsh way, we just want to push forwards the new bands.
Hell yeah. I mean, what's funny is you did actually get Sleep Token as well, just in the wrong position.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, but I got Green Day on the Friday as headliner.
I know, you literally have matched it like for like on that.
Yeah.
And then Sleep Token is actually the same day.
Yeah, but I think the only one of the reasons, not only because they're an awesome band, but Sleep Token a headliner, because I have a feeling Foo Fighters were going to be playing, but after everything that's going on with Dave in his personal life this year, Foo Fighters are on hiatus.
Which, fair enough, takes some time.
So that would mean that Sleep Token can play a couple of slots, which is what's happened, I think, anyway. So it works with my band. The other way.
Well, I've got one band, so I had my Friday night headliner was Bullet for my Valentine. They are playing. We don't know, because there's no day split on Download at the moment. We don't know, but they're high enough that it's either going to be main support to a band, or it's going to be second stage headliner. This also... if you notice, Parkway haven't been announced. So I still think that 2026 I might get one of my... 26
could be a good bet for a Parkway headline slot.
It's coming. One of the ones I did get right, because I didn't get many right, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I got Lorna Shore. So that's one I got.
That is pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's the end of me guessing. Ghost Inside. I got the Ghost Inside as well. Whereas Mike, by comparison...
But you've put Falling in Reverse, and I think they'll probably get announced, because the next announcement for Download is January, February time. So they've done their sold-out arena European and UK tour.
Yeah,
so
I reckon so.
Yeah, they could be the name that goes between Weezer and Bullet.
I reckon so. But I'm just looking at yours. I mean, you got Don Broco, Mallory Knox...
Yeah. Spirit Box.
Spirit Box.
Green Day.
You got Green Day, obviously. Sleep Token as well.
CKY.
You got CKY as well.
I just pulled that one out of my ass as well when I was doing this. It's like, I need someone that's cool, and now they're all buzz about them again because they don't like to talk very well with people behind the cameras.
And no, that's been a thing. And there's still, as we said, so many bands left to line up on Download's 2025 poster. We may still see some people.
I've got Loathe.
You got
Sorry,
Loathe?
I'm just looking at my... There's still time for...
A good half of yours to be there.
Yeah, Cypress Hill.
Ah.
Also, I think it's Death Havana, not Death Havana.
I'm still pretty confident that S Club 7 could get announced.
Why not? We've got McFly this year, next year. We
Exactly.
had Busted this year.
Exactly. I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
And Youngblood. I think Youngblood would go in there perfectly.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Youngblood is actually quite a good bet.
Yeah. 2026, Ghost.
Yeah. What, as headliner?
Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, make sure you tell us below who you want to see either released still at Download for 2025 or who you think your festival headliners are for 2026. This is something that we really like chatting about, and we've got a little bit of an insight being, sort of 14 years strong in the Download press area now. Seasoned attendees. That we're going to touch back on it when they announce again. We're probably also going to go over a few more festivals lineups because, again, we're getting a really well-defined 2025 where if you want certain styles, you can go to certain places. Like Trees has got a really, really coherent lineup this year.
Yes, Trees is really good if you're into that kind of post-emo.
Yeah, middle like heavy, not too heavy.
And then Slam Dunk is killer this year.
Bloodstock as well,
already sold out. That was the thing that got me. All the comments on Tuesday after the announcement.
Yep.
Oh, rubbish lineup. No, I'm going to Bloodstock, and then
no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Not unless you already have a ticket, people. Not unless you already have a ticket.
They released a whole bunch of extra tickets, and they went within an hour.
Yeah, it is wild the stuff that's going on.
Just shows if you're into Sleep Token or Green Day and Korn, get those tickets because Download has sold out for the last couple of years. So
you may not, you genuinely may not get a ticket. So definitely buy your tickets. We're not too sure what we have booked in for next week because we've got a couple of ideas that we're working on at the moment. So that I can't tell you what it will be next week, but we'll see what we can come back with.
Just means you have to come back.
Yes. And obviously, when you're looking for the way to do that, it's a subscribe, a like, and then it's a notification bell.
And more importantly, if you want to leave a comment, we'll probably comment back.
Yeah, it's just us and our manager who's currently hiding out of sight because we like being on camera. She does not. So it'll be one of the three of us that you chat to. Same as if last week's episode hit you in a strong way and you message us. It will be us that responds to anything to do with mental health, music, news videos. We don't have anybody else apart from the three of us. It's just us.
#TMJRX.
We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching our Download announcement show. Did you agree? Did you think that we were wrong in any of our opinions, any of our predictions for next year, and anything that we're excited about? Feel free to tear us apart in the comments. We actually have had some very, very, very exciting news since the point that we recorded what I've just edited. And so we now know what's coming up on this week's show. We have yet another huge announcement to make. So make sure that you tune in to the next show to find out what that announcement is.